Okay, so welcome everyone to this new episode of EagleFly, the experimental debugger. Today we will continue making this awesome debugger, and if you'd like to follow along, please don't hesitate and join us. With that in mind, if you have any questions, you can post them on Twitter or YouTube and I'll be there to answer. With that said, let's start by opening the project, which is here. Alright. So the last thing we did was that, well, we started making the disassembler itself, which we just made a simple usage code here, which tries to identify different opcode symbols across the binary, specifically in the code section here, which is the place that specifically has this information about the instructions that the processor will operate on. So yeah, so I think we will continue with this. If I believe, yeah, we were like looking at the these are the prefixes, which these are the possible prefixes for x64 and for x86, but there's a caveat here, and the caveat is that it's missing the VIX, VX prefixes, and VX encoding has a special way to do opcode encoding. So yeah, that's something we also have to do and check out. Besides that, there's also, the opcode prefixes, well, they can be in any way, you know. That's also we have that's also something that the spec mentioned. That's these prefixes, or these groups of prefixes, you know, because they are groups. They can be randomly put across. The compiler can generate the opcode bytes and put them like however he wants. The spec doesn't specify any ordering in that sense, just that it has to be before the opcode specific 3 byte definition, so that and as the REX prefix has to always be the last prefix in to be put, if any, you know. Just before the opcode itself. So that's for this. And the opcodes, specifically the opcodes, which let's say the idea behind this could be something like So my question is, if you can choose between across groups, one, let's say we choose, where is it? Let's say we choose, where is it? For example, this instruction, convert the Q to PD. This is an SIB instruction, which works across. It has a 3 byte. It has a mandatory one, which is F3 of FE6. Well, F3 is the mandatory prefix. OF is escape code, and E6 is, let's say, the special one. This is the opcode table. I mean, this is gotten by the opcode table that we look through, that we have to look through and see. This one is gonna be got by the opcode table. These two, whereas has to be they have to be looked up randomly. I mean, not randomly, but in the sense that how can we define, like, hey, this is a mandatory prefix or it's not a mandatory prefix? That's my question. Because imagine that we have to kind of have another rule, another limitation here that tells us, hey, we have this 3 opcode by thing, which especially this is the mandatory prefix. This is not a normal prefix in that way. So don't see it as that way. Choose to be a mandatory prefix. Now, another problem and another caveat that I was thinking about is, like, well, we can take what if I choose to, where is it? For example, well, probably is because, for example, you cannot use F3 and F3 twice, or I don't know. That's an interesting question. I never seen a let's say we have F3 and then F3 and then the opcode by. Then how would you choose? Well, that would be like, hey, well, one is a mandatory and one is the other prefix for, whereas it can be a group 1, or whereas it can be this for F2. Yeah, my question is, like, can we repeat prefixes? Imagine that we have F0H alloc for an instruction that starts with a mandatory prefix F0H, like a general purpose one. So it will be F0, F0, and then another opcode by or something. Or let's say, yeah, the duplication or the duplication problem can be something interesting to look at. So before going and looking at, I want to see the opcode tables, because probably those are the specific rules for each opcode. So primary outcome fields can have things like displacements, direction of operations, register encoding condition codes, or sign extensions. So let's say, for example, in this part we have 4883. This is a subtraction for RSP 28H. We don't see any of the bytes before, so that's a little bit weird, since these are, well, these are general purpose, but they are 64 wide, so we haven't checked the 64 part, so probably it's different. We see a lot of 48s, you know, there's a 48, there's a 2F here. For example, this is the same instruction but with different registers. We have here RDX and this same address. What? Oh, did we compile with both of them? No, yet they are different addresses. This one address and this is different register. So the only thing that's the same probably this is a prefix. The instruction, we have 5, 2 F's, and 0, 0, and another 0, 0. So they have common things which probably represent the opcode by or the addressing mode and stuff like that. But they have different addresses and different registers, which probably are the things that also differ inside the opcode encoding. You know, this is an interesting point. And they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bytes. Okay. This is a call, which is, it has the same base, E8, but the function pointer, it's different. This is a 17 away. That's interesting. For example, move EAX to ECX, it's encoded this way with the special 8B case and C8. And move 0 to RCX, it's 48 C7C1. Okay. The report, I mean, I don't see any kind of these 60 prefixes, but probably we haven't. For example, let's say, I don't know, I'm gonna do something stupid. Alright, so before calling exit process, or even, yeah, before calling exit well, say over here, create kitty to PS, and convert Q2 to PS, convert the Q to PD, sorry, PD. We need a register, so it's gonna be XMM0, I don't know, something like that. So XMM0 is not the way. XMM0 or even better, convert the Q to PD. It converts a packet double word integers to packet double precision floating point values. Okay. 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 For example, here we can see the encoding. We have F3 0F is 6, which is the expected thing for this one. This is gonna work with XMM1, XMM2, or M64. So the thing that I was looking for, it didn't work because it didn't have. So the assembler doesn't understand the XML1 registers, so probably they have a different syntax. MMX, XMMM, XMMM, XMMM. And these are, this is interesting. This is a whole set of encodings for BX with extension BX, extension BX. Well, we can even okay, so this is AVX 512. And this is AVX alone. And this is SSC2. Okay. So basically the mother RAM basically encodes the operands. Sometimes can be, I don't know if they're all the time, but it encodes since they are registers, there's gonna be a mode of the register for the first operand and register or memory for the second operand. So yeah, I have to check out how to write these registers, but doesn't matter. I mean, we can do it on with intrinsics probably on C, but it's not super important right now. I just want to see it. There you go. Well, why not? Where is the? Let me see if I can find it. Well, I think I'm not gonna find it here because just look at this: 1992, 1996. SIMD, I believe, didn't come on to the thousands. To the next millennium. So I cannot see anything of this. So yeah, we're not gonna find out anything about XMMM and SIMD instructions in this programmer's guide. So yeah, that's a shame. But we have to find a way to encode that in assembly. Probably it doesn't have any support, probably not, well, it doesn't matter. okay, I got you. Yeah, because if you remember, where is it? Well, I can look it here. If you remember the mother RAM, you know, we have 3 and 3. Oh no, sorry, 2. 3 and 2, they are 5. 2 to the 5 is 32. And those 32 bits encode the 32 possibilities for the mod RM sequence, you know, which are 8 registers possibles and 16 no and 14. Yeah. 8 possible registers and 14 memory sections or memory addresses forms. Let me see. Sorry, 24. 24 addressing modes. So they are 24 addressing modes. Interesting. Okay, look at this. Yeah, I mean, most of the encoding or the reason, the thing that I was talking about, the limitations that are gonna be defined are encoded inside the primary opcode. The primary opcode defines basically a lot of stuff. Across the mother RAM byte, and for prefixes as well, and probably for other stuff as well. Purpose of the register opcode field specifying the primary opcode. Yeah, so that's the thing. Then the RM field can specify a register as an operand. So yeah, I mean, it's bananas. It's a kind of, I mean, there's many possibilities, and that's the interesting part, because opcode encoding can be even used with the RM and mod field. So yeah, we have to take care about that as well. So I will write this. So rec opcode is a 3-bit. It's 3 bits that specify Okay, so the base plus index and the scale plus index forms of 32-bit addressing required the SIB byte. So that suggests us that, I mean, normally we will see this kind of encodings in loops. I mean, in loops through arrays, probably, you know, which we have the kind of, I mean, it all depends how the compiler does this stuff, but uh, um, in a normal scenario, if any, we will see like register moving, register transformations, and register array transformations, sorry. And scale plus index is more like probably a table or something, a string, or something that's with something that's dynamic, you know, that you have to move with the scale a little bit more, or you want to be moving, like, let's say by chunks of memory, probably. That makes sense. And all those two may need the SIB byte as well. Bits 3, 4, 5 are specified by the column of the table in which a byte resides. The row specifies bits 0, 1, 2 and bits 6, 7. The figure below demonstrates interpretation of one table value. Okay, so that's the way they combine, which is mod rm register opcode encoding. So the tables, the columns are gonna define the register opcode, and the rows are gonna define the modulus, well, the mod and rm. Okay, so let's see. This is for 16-bit addressing forms with the mother and by, and this just tells us, hey, this is the reg opcode equal to 000, 001, 010, 011, and depending on the value, it's gonna take another the secondary okay, I understand the table now. Okay, so it's interesting, you know. I mean, the encoding, it's a little bit nice because, I mean, it's like, I like the way like density information gets packed. For example, let's take a look at this. If you see here, we have these rows over here, which, I mean, the real meaning is basically this, you know. I mean, this is the real meaning we're looking for. Whenever we re-encode, or whenever we write, for example, let's say in assembly language, some kind of these addressing modes for, let's say in this case it's going to be for memory, the interpretation of the encoding is gonna make the result of these values right here. And if you remember, you know, the first three of the mode, you know, the first three combinations are gonna display the 24 possibilities of the of addressing modes, and the last 8 combinations will display registry modes, you know, which are these ones. So these are the basic results, you know, with effective addresses, as they call them. And the way to do that, the encoding has to do these cases. You have 2 bits for the mod, 3 bits for the RM, and 3 bits for the reg, you know, we can see here. So basically the mod and RM encodes the first operand, you know, and the reg encodes the second operand, which is these kind of things. So whenever you want to say, hey, for example, BXSI, you're going to say, hey, 00 mod, 00 RM, and 0 reg, which tells us that the X value for that is going to be 00. So that's that's pretty straightforward. And it will be the same thing here, 001, 01, and this is 0, so it's going to be 0 as well, you know. 001, 12, so this is going to be moving, but the reg value doesn't move in this column. So these are all the possibilities with this reg, if you want to call them. And it goes moving on, reg equal 1, reg equal 2, it gets to the next 8 combinations, the next 8 combinations, next 8 combination, and the next 8 combinations as well, till the 8th combination here. And it will be the same, you know. So we have basically 8 times 8, we have 64 here, 64 combinations, and then we pass to the other 64 combinations, and then the other 64 combinations, and then the other 64 combinations, which total 256 combinations for an 8-bit, which is total sense. Okay, that's interesting. And if you can see, the values, I mean the registers took for the second operand are chosen based on the register field, but that's not the complete set, because I mean, how do you choose across AL, AX, EAX? For choosing across that, you will need an addressing prefix or some addressing mode. Sorry, how's it called? This address size thing. Yeah, the operand size attribute, which can be a prefix or any other kind of, or the normal mode which you can get with CPU ID, I guess. But normally, yeah, you need the address mode, well, the address attribute, and with the address attribute you define which one of these 8 combinations you get. Well, there are 5. Yeah, 5 combinations. So it can be AL, CL, DL, BA, AH, CH, DH, BH. But this is for, remember, this is for 16-bit addressing forms. That means that the sizes of the addressing cannot go upper of a 65536 boundary. So if you are gonna address with that kind of limitation, well, probably, I mean, if they're gonna be using, well, the meaning of 16-bit addressing doesn't mean that you are in 16-bit mode. Probably they're just telling you that, hey, this is 16-bit addressing form. Well, probably, yeah, I don't remember, but I mean, I don't remember if I can use 16-bit addressing with 32-bit mode or protected mode or something. I have to check that as well. But 16-bit addressing, the range is 65536. So the encoding of it, you know, the thing that is gonna be displayed totally, I mean, the values of bx plus SI cannot go upper than that, you know, or bx. So bx is gonna be, it's a 16-bit register, and SI as well is a 16-bit register. So all of these are 16-bit, 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 16-bit. So yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, because it's, you're using 16-bit addressing modes, you have to use 16-bit registers as well. BX, BP, SI, BP, DI, SI, DI, BP, BX. You have BX plus SI, BX plus DI, plus displacement 16. You have displacement 8 and displacement 16. I want to find, where is it? The default segment register is SS for the effective address contained in a BP index, DS for the effective address. I cannot see the one. Do you see the one? I mean, the one for this node. I mean, I see the 2 here, but I don't see the 1. Here's the 3. Where is the 2? Okay. So this is a displacement added next to the model by, and it's a 16-bit displacement. And then and that displacement is added to the index, which in this case is the value which is encoded in this, no, to the index it has to be SIB, isn't it? So you're using SIB as well? Because I don't see SIB here in any way, isn't it? Probably because model SIB is it just, if you, yeah, SIB just encodes, remember, it's the scale, the index, and the base. So whenever they say index, you have to understand that it's referring to the SIB, I guess. But the SIB is for the second operand, if I imagine. I don't remember, but okay, so the displacement 8 denotes an 8-bit displacement that follows a model byte as well, and that is thanks it. So you have another bit, you know, so it compasses 4 bits, you know, 4 bits total, and those 4 bits are added to the index. Okay. Now I cannot see. Oh, here it is. So what this means is that the default segment register is SS for the effective addresses containing a BP index. So any BP index here, like this one, BP DI, BP, these ones, are going to use SS for the segment register. You know what I mean? But that means that it's using this SS for indexing or for storing. Yeah, it doesn't mean there's no storing in this table, so yeah, it's for indexing. Yes, so that means that this effective address is going to use SS for a BP index and DS for other effective addresses. So all of the others are going to be DS. That's good. This is our first table that we look at, the way the encoding goes into the mod RM byte and the SIP, sorry, the how's it called, SIB, sorry. I'm sorry. So let's see what happens in 32-bit mode. We have for register opcode the same data instruction, the same. This is the same, but now we don't have, or probably we don't have SIBs on 16-bit, isn't it? 16-bit is just for 32, as I imagine, because look at this. This is SIB, but we don't have 16-bit SIB. So probably, yeah. So the index has to come from the first register, I guess. Because if you see here, the effective address is going to be different here. We have EAX as the address, ECX as the address, EDX, EBX. Oh, okay. So this is SIB. If we have this symbol, we have SIB next the mod array and by. So you see here, they never use ESP and EBP as effective addresses, because if you think about it, it would be confusing and problematic, because the ESP and EBP is already used by the stack, so makes sense. We have EAX, ECX, EDX, EBX. Plus a displacement, then the SIB plus a displacement. So it's the same but with a displacement, and then the same but with a displacement with 32s, and then all the registers, EAX, AX, AL, MMO, XMMO, and if you see, they are the same idea, For example, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, it's the same, and they are ordered the same way. You have the same 5 elements: EAX, AEX, AL, MMO, and XMMO. So that's interesting, and that's important. ECX, ECX, CL, MM, XMM1. Is the other part. EDX, DX, DL, MMN2, MMN2, EVX, BX, ESP, BP, ESI, EDI. Okay. They have the same combinations. It's all the same, but now it's in 32-bit addressing, which that's the thing, it changes. And you think about it, well, it's a little bit weird in this case, because we have BX, SI, BX, DI, BX, SI, BP, SI, DI, BX, and the same pattern gets across here: BX, SI, BX, DI, BP, SI, DI, SI, DI, BP, BX. And this is a displacement. And this is the same: BXSI, BXDI, BPSI, BPDI, SI, DI, BP, BX. Plus 16. And then we have the registers. Straightforward. So it's kind of, it has order, you have to say that, it has a simple, compact way to encode the whole set of possibilities that one can use, and if you think it makes sense, it's something cool. So let's see. So there's not a lot of difference in here. The meanings of them is gonna be a little bit different, but just because of the registers and the displacements that they're gonna use. But in general, it has the same structure. EAX, the same registers, the same way they are formatted, the same way, and the same combinations. So that's good. So that's good. That is good. So the cool part, for example, is that if you want to use displacements but with sang extension, you can use this kind of way, and whenever you don't care about extension and you want to just add a little bit more of displacement, you can use this set of pairs, which is nice. They give you that possibility. Or if you just want a simple displacement address, you just use the same registers for displacement. Well, it's not displacement, but addressing. Yeah. And and the same goes to this one. Yeah, so the only thing you have to understand is that, so you don't get confused, when they have a parenthesis in assembly or whatever, is that you refer to the address, you know? And whenever you change it, and whenever you use the register itself, you mean the value inside the inside the register, you know? So that's important. So if you see here, you know, I mean the encoding is for, let me see, over here. If you see this address, this is an address because it's inside the brackets, and this is a register, yeah. So whenever let's say we have RCX has an encoding, you know, we have here let's see if we can find it, but this is for 64. We haven't get to that part, so just wait a second. Yeah, but you know that's important to mention. And then Okay, so this one goes along rows, you know, in this case. Now it goes this way, and the reason is because the base is the bit, the less significant bits, and the index is the one that goes in the middle, and the the scale, it's the most significant bits. So you have the most significant bits, and you move across the base. You know, the base is gonna tell me which base I'm gonna use, which is EAX, ECX, EDX, EBX, ESP, or this thing that I don't understand, but ESI, IDI, and then with the index 0, now the thing I don't understand is that this displacement, it's encoded in the displacement field, or yeah, it should, isn't it? Yeah, because you cannot go. I mean, this just tells me the size. Okay, yeah. So this tells me the size of the displacement that I have to look next across the encoding and say, hey, I have a disparity. Okay, now let me go and search for those bytes, if any, and I encode it, and I decode it, better say. So yeah. So it depends. It can be a disk32 or displacement A plus an EBP, or a disk32 plus an EBP. It all depends in the mod bit, which is in the other part. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it cannot be 1 because that tells us that's a register. There's no, I don't know if there's displacement with the registers. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. But if you see, well, that's just for the mod. I mean, the only place that the mod modifies in this case is just these little things, eh? Well, all this column. And let me see. Okay, I understand. So the index is the register index, that's all it is. The register index, so it's gonna, hey, choose me the base. It's just like this, you have a base, which is EBP, and you have a scale index, and these displacements are encoded just for these specific scenarios. That means hold a second. Yeah, so that means that scaling, now my question is, scaling just happens for one operand or for both operands? Let me go back. This has to be here. I mean, it all depends, because yeah, you have to, that answer I'm gonna look at with the primary opcode table, because the primary opcode table first tells me if there are two operands, if any, or because with these modules, the module thing doesn't tell me anything about the operand count. The operand count is encoded in the primary opcode. Yeah. For encodings of mode, RM, and SIB bytes. Yeah. The base field specifies the register number of the base register. And yeah, probably the opcode table also tells us a little bit more about how to interpret mother M by itself. We know what mother M itself tells us. For example, if it refers to register or if it refers to memory. But yeah, it's attached to the primary opcode, and then I can specify register as an operand, or it can be combined with mod field. If you see, this doesn't tell me which register we are talking about, and it's because that meaning it's encoded in the opcode primary table. They just tell us, okay, it's gonna be a register, it's gonna be an operand, sorry, and the way that operand is gonna be encoded and what the meaning it entails is with this table. It's a register, or it's a memory with an offset, with a limit, with a scale. It's the whole operand structure. But you want to see which operand we're talking about. That's encoded in another part. Okay. So that's good to know, because I was like going bananas. and since it's not like super determinant, I mean, RM, these fields can be used as anyways as the opcode primary table defines, but in general they specify these kinds of displacements and addressing modes, which that's the general case. And that's the reason why, if you see here the scale field, I mean, you have two registers. For SIB you need two registers, but those two registers are I mean, something like this, if you make sense. I can write it here. Since I'm starting with this, probably it's a little bit crazy, but let's say we do the same here, which we couldn't do it, but say we have a move RSP, let's say RSP times 2 plus RBP, well, probably I'm gonna use RAX, and well, what are them? I mean, this is for 64, so it's gonna be bananas, it doesn't matter. RBX, for example, something like that, plus 5, I guess. I don't know if that's possible, but this is the main idea across the minute. This thing is gonna be encoded some way in the opcode. So you have the scaling, you have the index, you have the base, you have the and you have a certain displacement, or you can do something like this, and it's like, hey, go to this place in memory and write the immediate thing. So you see here, this instruction probably uses, I don't know if it uses prefixes, but probably uses the whole set of opcode bytes possible cases buckets to be encoded, whereas this doesn't. This doesn't has any SIB, or well, I don't know, but this is a pretty much simpler encoding thing rather than this one. Let me see if this compiles. Oh, this compiles. That's totally crazy. Man, I want to see that instruction. It's totally ridiculous. I don't know if the TLS hasn't. Where is it? Control open. Test bill. I want the list. This is the move. REX test 2. So yeah, you can see here, for example, this is the base opcode 48C7, and then we have 44C3, which changes with this encoding. So this has to be the model RAM SIB, and probably the immediate as well, Now probably the immediate. Oh yeah, here, look at this. This is the I don't know if this is let me look at it in here. This ASM bytes test debug target, this ASM let's see this. Core pointer RVX plus RAX times 2 plus 5. So this is the displacement and this is the immediate. Do you see? And then we have other extra trailing and zeros thing. So we have the displacement, immediate, SIB, mother M, and the opcode, the primary opcode. Nice. We can see something interesting. We can start to see the we can start reading binary. we can see the binary, man. That's awesome. Now this is a simple case scenario, you know. I can see that this is a 5, this is a 5, and yeah, and this is for, well, I haven't seen the RAX, but yeah, we have to see the 64 table to really understand the encoding of these ones. But it's not too difficult, you know. This is SIB and this is mother RAM, and this is the opcode table. Cool. That's nice. Forty-eight, 67, 44, 43, 55, 55. Okay. And I believe, I don't know if I can do this. That will be bananas. I don't think it's possible. Yeah. Multiplier not allowed. Exactly. This is the index, this is the base, and this is the displacement. And that's why it moved me. I mean, if you want to see it more semantically, you want to see this base, index, displacement. Yeah. That's why the disassembler moved me the RBX back onto the first place. You know, that's cool. Okay. Okay, and just for making sure, we can, oh my god, we can change that so we can see the encoding a little bit different. Whoa. So that means that this is possible. Yeah, because the operands have to be something special. I haven't seen it, but yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. So if we dump the binaries again, we can see here that what, it didn't change it, or are we looking at it wrong? Oh yeah. Yeah, here. Yeah, we have, yeah, displacement immediate. Perfect. Okay. Okay, that's total sense. And you know, probably we have something more there, because I mean the encodings of SIBs also tells us yeah, it has to tell us the size. Yeah, I mean the other parts of it as well, you know, like the scale, index, displacement, EVP. So we have an index, and then we have a base, and then the scale factor, that's 0. No, sorry, this is 1, 2, 4, 8. Okay, 1, 2, 4, 8, and these are the indexes to the registers, AAX, blah blah blah, and these are the bases. That's really nice. And the displacements, well, the values we already know because they are on the, here we don't have displacements, but here, you know, we have a displacement in here, which is encoded in the SIB. That's a special. It's for the EVP register. You can encode displacement in its case, or if you want to choose the other kind of displacement for 32, yeah, that can be encoded inside the mother RAM by as well. Okay, so I would say that that's good for today. Of course, we have to program this, you know. We have to write the tables. I mean, not the tables, but, well, we have to write the decoder for these tables, basically, using these tables, of course. Yeah, we have to take a look at the F32 emote, because that's the one we are working with right now. So yeah, we have to take a look at REX prefixes and stuff like that, you know, because the REX prefix is gonna change the mother RAM and the way we see that. So we have to be careful about that. So probably the thing that I the imaginary decoding thing that we did here probably is not totally right, and the reason is because of REX prefixes. But yeah, doesn't matter. We are gonna look at that on the next stream. So yeah, let me go here, and please, if you have any questions, you can post them on Twitter or YouTube, and I'll be there to answer. With that said, I would say thank you very much for coming up on this stream, and I will see you all on the next stream.